video, but there we go. So, hi Mandy, hi Jenny. So I'm going to do a Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier type thing, but I'm not, oh no, it's not, that's not going to come out at all. So I'll switch to a different camera. So hopefully I can, might take it off the thing. So,
oh, I love that, Elaine. That's lovely.
Can you
stoneware?
Gorgeous.
So those are poppy seed heads, and just press.
Oh, that's okay. I'm all right with that one.
You don't hate it. So that's
No.
that's one of the molds. So that's poppy seed heads pushed into some stoneware clay, and that's another one. So,
oh, lovely.
So I've used the two together to create these sort of barnacle type effect.
Oh, I love those.
Thank you. And then these ones are lavender.
Cool.
So the.
Did you press it into the clay? That's so nice. I love that.
Try and get it right. So I pressed lavender into the clay there, and then fired it, and any petals that were on there burned away.
Fantastic.
So then I was able to use that to sprig mold.
I love the mixture of scribito with it as well.
Yeah, well, I thought, well, the stems are too thin to kind of have a strip. If I tried to kind of put in a strip of clay there, it would be too thick. It would make you wouldn't get the delicacy. So I drew the lines in. So you've got kind of like positive and negative kind of thing, but it seems to work all right. But I was going on not trying to be Hitomi Honsono in kind of covering the entire thing, but clustering them together so that you've got kind of, it's not just one randomly here and there, but which is fine, but that wasn't the style I was going for. I wanted to go for some more natural clusters. And then the next bit I'd made, I don't know if you remember from another week, I made some berries.
I was thinking about that because you were painstakingly scoring and slipping them together.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, which and I tried another technique. I tried making them all and then sort of just kind of scoring the back so they were a bit flatter on the back, but it didn't work very well. They were quite squashed. So the one that I painstakingly made, I then pushed that into stoneware clay and fired that.
Brilliant. That's cool, isn't it?
So then I could make a sort of low relief of the berries.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's worked so well. It's because you've got all the different heights.
Yeah, well, what I did was it had the heights, but it still looked a bit squashed. So some of the ones that stick out a bit further, I've actually added these on extra.
Oh, great.
So the main body of it is just this bit here, and then repeated again there, as a sprig, which looks like this.
Wow.
That's what the original sprig would have looked like applied to the surface. So I did two lots, and then added some extra little. Sorry, I'm not pointing in the right direction. Some extra little blobs just to sort of give it even more of a 3D sort of effect.
Yeah, I like what you've done there with the stems, that you've done some coming out and some carved in.
Do you like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that works really well.
Yeah, so originally I just drew the lines in like I did with the lavender.
Yeah.
But I thought it actually needed a bit of beefing up. So
yeah,
I added these, but these ones, it makes the lines that I drew in look like it's sort of they're slightly receding or are finer finer lines. So I did the twiggy bits with this. So this isn't from the same plant, and it's just, but it is a reasonably thick twig. But even so, it was quite prone to cracking as I tried to release it from the mold, because it's so thin. I made this one.
Oh my word, so much work.
This one is too thin. I cannot get a successful sprig out of that, which is a shame because I like the little buds on it, but it's just you know, there's a limit to you know.
Have you tried, if you put the clay in it and then put some slip on and pressed it onto the clay rather than try to peel it out?
Oh, that's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah. Good thinking, Claire. I like your thinking.
Try it, because it might come out then onto if it's wetted on the back onto a piece of clay.
Yeah. Oh, we'll try
Say that again. I didn't get that. Say that again, Guru Claire.
I just said if Elaine, because Elaine can't peel it out because it's so fragile. But if she put some water or slip on the back of it and then pressed it onto the clay.
So if I actually just
directly onto the clay.
Oh yeah. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, that might help release it from the mold. Yeah.
If you press it onto a slab or something, you might release it out.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I'll try that. Yeah. So actually, you know, it was actually really quick. Me making the mold was really quick. I just had whatever I had around the I want it to go horizontal. It's all vertical at the moment, isn't it?
I love your little acorn cups. Were they little acorn cups with the holes in?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry
about the I don't know why it's come out. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So it's quite nice. It's got the texture. So I made let's see if I can get it.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that's so nice.
Because it's all back to front, I have trouble with it. But yeah, so I had quite a large acorn cup because I thought actually because of the shrinkage, I'm gonna need it to be a large one. So I just pressed the large acorn cup into that stoneware, and you can't actually see a lot of the detail. I don't think detail. But what I did then was I've got these brilliant drumsticks.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've seen these before. The only place I can see I found where you can buy them is Bath Potters Suppliers. I've tried looking everywhere for them elsewhere because I would just think, well, they ought to be available in other places, but Bath Potters Suppliers, the only places I've seen these. Even eBay, you can't find these.
Are they literally drumsticks?
Well, no, they're full pottery, I think.
Oh, okay.
But they're just so useful for me making small pieces.
Yeah.
So with this one and this mold,
gosh,
I am recording. Yes, I am. Hold on, I'll just get some clay. So let's move this out of the way. So I've got, if I just get myself a little kind of almost large piece, sorry if I'm not in the right place. There's a pea-sized amount, and I'm just going to flatten it a little bit just in my fingers to give it a good start. And then I can put it in the mold, and then this is where the drumstick comes in handy, because then I can squash that. You need to sort of do it in one movement.
Yeah. You don't end up with fingerprints inside either, do you? Which is really good.
Yeah, if I tried to do it with my finger, I'd sort of mess it up, I think. But then that's, sorry, I don't know why I can't get
That's
the.
cool.
Can
It
you
just
see the
pops
texture on that?
Yes, that's very cool. I like that. That's so nice. Because it'd take you ages to hand model that, wouldn't it? To get.
Yeah,
each
well,
one.
I've tried to add texture manually to these things, and it never comes out quite right. But I think this is quite nice. So then with the other ones, I just made a little pin hole, actually pushed from the inside through. Give it a little wiggle, and then I know I can attach that to things. So that's quite nice. So that's not actually for sprigging, but it's the same technique. So
I really like that.
I thought, so shall I do an example of what I've done for
Yeah.
sprigging on the piece?
Yeah. Well, I went to Ardingly. I got a really cool draw pull that had this face in it.
Oh, you showed us that. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, which was quite quirky, because with antique things you tend to find quite unusual. It's funny it's quite cool what you can make sprigs and molds and things out of, isn't it?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, I mean, when I was doing this, I was sort of looking around the studio saying, "Oh, what else can I do?" But these were poppy seed heads, and they do create quite a nice little pattern. So what I've got here is some talc, just some talc powder, and I've got that because it can help with releasing from the mold. So I've just got a little brush. It's kind of annoying me that I can't quite. There we go.
Could I using talc? Because I've been using cornstarch.
Oh yeah, that works just as well. Yeah, it's just as well.
Really good, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't have any cornstarch, but I had talc, and because it's a glaze ingredient, it's an opacifier in glazes. So I'm just dusting it with a little bit, not too much, obviously, but just dusting it, I suppose, like you would with if you were working with clay, working with pastry. And then I've just got my little nugget of my little pea of porcelain there, and then I'm going to just push it into the mold quite firmly. And then I've got a straight-edged aluminium tool. So Claire, have you done made sprigs this way, this sort of negative, rather than the sort of
yeah. So I have done that, where I've got the negative and the positive by pressing in and firing the piece, and then using a piece of clay to press in, and then make the other positive.
Yeah.
Because it's handy to have both, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I quite because the star on my star mug, so I carved out of a piece of clay. I think it's nice when you hand do them, because it makes them unique then as well, doesn't it? To have ones that, you know, those sort of ones, especially from natural materials. I think the lavender's come out lovely, and that's beautiful, the little poppy seed head. So that's the relief and the positive, the positive and the negative.
Yeah, so these are the sort of positives of the poppy seed heads. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can buy press molds, and you can buy silicone molds that people use for cake decorating and that sort of thing. But then they're not original to you, are they? So
No.
Right, so
No.
there's a few different ways you can get these out. And in the Wedgwood video link that I'll send you, it's quite a long video, but it's worth a watch. The Pathé News film of Wedgwood, they do it by sort of just lifting the edges by scraping it. So it's quite an amazing technique, but I haven't managed to perfect that one. So I'm going to try this one, which is when you just get a little blob of clay and stick it on the back, and hopefully it'll lift off, but it's not going to do that. Okay, it doesn't want to do that. So I'm going to use just a little blade and just trying to really not damage the edges.
I guess if you just left it for a bit, it'd shrink off as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you don't want it to over dry. So
no, that's where I find that oh, that's lovely. That's where I find that the plaster, it pops out better from the plaster than the clay, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And if I bothered to make these as plaster molds, they'd be more effective, definitely.
But it's such a faff, isn't it, making the plaster ones compared to?
Well, yeah. I mean, this was so quick because I made them on Monday and put them straight in I made these things on Monday and put them straight in the kiln, completely wet.
Wow.
And they all came out fine. I thought some of them might crack, but they didn't. They all came out fine. So I got them out of the kiln yesterday and was using them yesterday. That's how last minute I am.
Did you crank it up slowly? Because I thought it would have exploded.
I did it at 60 degrees an hour to 600.
Oh, cool. Gosh, that's really good.
But I tend to do that anyway, just in case.
Yeah.
So I've scored that bit, and then I'm just going to put some water on it there. But I want water all the way around the edges as well. And then I'm just going to. I'm trying to look at it in real life and on the screen.
Oh no.
So then I can just press that in there. And then what I want to do is go around the edges of it just with a damp brush. I don't want to go over the main body of the piece because I'll smudge the design. But if I need to make sure I go all the way around.
I love that because it does look quite barnacle-y, doesn't it? It's really cool.
Yeah, especially these other ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if I build that up, that will, that could look quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's quite nice. So
did you enjoy it, Elaine?
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's funny. I think in a way I enjoy the process more than the results. Yeah, I think it's a matter of playing with it to find a style that you respond to, because the process of it is actually rather lovely. I mean, I quite like slow, detailed work anyway. But this overlapping that Hitomi Honsono has done, I quite like. So I quite liked. You can see this one here. This barnacle sort of encroaching on this one. So I liked overlapping them there. But that's something that takes a bit of practice, I think, so that it doesn't sort of warp them too much.
Yeah. But, and also it's a good technique to know for like with the berries, if it sort of works out as giving an effect, but sort of labour saving.
Yeah. I mean, my berries I wanted to be a bit more 3D for framing, but yeah, this is quite fun, and I liked being able to add extra pieces to kind of make it a bit more.
Marley.
What else would you like to see? Would you like to see lavender, or would you like to see berries, or would you like to? Can I show you?
Do the lavender. Exciting. I love the way it's come out, because it's quite firm, isn't it? So it's taken the imprint really well.
It has, yeah. So I pushed them in quite hard into the clay so that they'd be quite deep. Because I kind of realised that they were going to need to be quite deep in order for me to use them.
Yeah.
But God, I really can't figure out this. So so a lot of it stayed stuck in the mould, but because it's natural material, it could just burn away. So I'm going to put a bit of this talc in there again, just to help it release. Sorry, I keep moving it around. I'm trying to get it.
I've been giving myself haircuts, and I do that in the mirror when I'm cutting my hair. It all goes horribly wrong when I do my fringe.
Can you see it all right? There isn't too much reflection.
No.
So I've got my little nugget there, and I'm just gonna push it in and then smear it around the edges. Is this what you would do, Claire? Is this how you would?
I think what I did was with the, I push the thing in a soft lump and then take away. So the sprigs that I've got are more, I haven't done it that way where I've scraped off with the aluminium. I've tended to push down really hard onto a flat surface and then cut around when I'm doing the, let's see, the positive from a negative.
So would you cut around the edges a bit?
So I put the soft bit of clay on the worktop, and then I press that mould really hard down over the top and then cut around. So say you imagine one lavender piece. I haven't got a few on one thing. I tend to think of them more as individuals. So rather than put the clay on the top, press it down and scrape it off, I put the clay on the table, press down really hard with the mould until the clay almost is flattened to the table but pushed right up in the mould.
So sort of pushing down onto like that onto the clay. So
yeah, more upside down than on over the top. I think I do it back to front. I've probably discussed it.
That didn't come out on screen. I'll just do this because actually this could be quite good if I have a bit of a sausage of clay, and that's really shiny, and try and line it up with this.
Yeah.
Split it down, and when I lift it up, it's actually stayed stuck to the thing. But there it is.
That would be a pretty cool addition to a pot, wouldn't it? With the piece around it, you could make it kind of a bit ripped, or
I mean, it's no good because it's stuck onto the plastic.
If you put it on a piece of paper, if you put paper underneath it, you'd be fine.
Yeah, obviously if I let it dry as well, but the thing is it's got that border around it, hasn't it, which if you wanted it without that,
Yeah.
This
I
technique.
think I wonder if you tried it now, Elaine, if you pushed it into the mould and then took the stuff away and then wet the back, and let's see if it works onto
Okay, well, let me finish the lavender first. So we've got my bit of lavender. I'm going to try again with a sticky bit of clay to see if I can get it out. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
so that's
Yay!
cool.
there it is. So then I've got to be really delicate with it. So what I'm going to do is try and find a spot for it on the pot. So if I went for maybe here. So what I want to do is I want to put it on the pot, just hold it gently there, and then just do some little dots, just so that I've got an idea of where to score. Did you see how I did that?
Yeah.
So now I know its position. I can then score that with, because I don't want the scoring to show. And then with my brush, just get that nice and wet, and I can overscore again if I need to. And then what I did before with this was pick up the piece on my brush, so that I'm handling it as little as I can, as I need to. So
Oh, that's a good idea as well. Yeah.
and then I can just slide it off and onto the.
That's why with the plaster mould you could wet the back and just stick it straight on and not have to.
Yeah, that could well, we'll try that next. So
I don't know.
despite my best efforts, I do actually still have some marks, but anyway. So I'm just going around the edges to make sure the edges are really nicely stuck down, so that it's not going to lift off anywhere. So that's my new bit of lavender, and it just needs a stalk.
Cool.
So I think I used this pointy stick to do that before. So it's not a very good angle. I don't know if I can improve that. So yeah, I'll try and get behind it so that I can see. I just want to sort of draw a line so that it goes behind there. Not too much, just enough to give it a sense of it. So there we go. That's come out quite nice.
It has. Really nice.
Right, so the other thing was the twig, wasn't it? So we want to try that. So let's take a bit on the other side and go back to our twig. Get myself another little bit of clay. So just going to make a little sausage. And just lay it on. I want to avoid it lifting up, because then you get a double imprint. I found if I kind of really smear it down, then it sort of stays in place. And then this is a slightly tricky bit, is to then do the scraping away without
Lifting it up.
Well, without lifting it up, and without sort of breaking it, because it's so delicate.
Oh, oh, it's a perfect twig as well.
Let's try again.
Oh.
This is like tomorrow's world. It's only with ceramic. It's like you know, if you remember Tomorrow's World, they'd do a demo and it would always go wrong on live TV. Which is why they invented videotape.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, I didn't put my talc on it, did I?
That might mean it might not come out. Might work. I suppose a rubber rib wouldn't cut the stuff off, would it?
Yes, it's sort of trying to gently but firmly. Okay, so what did you think then? Put water on it?
Well, I thought a slip of water on the back, but it hasn't got the powder in, so hopefully it will come out. But
so if I want to probably score a little area first for it to go onto on the pot. So on camera, I'm just scoring a little bit.
yeah, that's a good idea because it might release clay a little bit. Well,
right. So my little thing, I'm just going to wet it slightly.
Yeah.
Make sure I've got all of it. And then let's move up to the pot.
if you wanted to try it on a piece of clay so you don't ruin the pot.
Oh, the pot's just a test. The pot's
Okay.
not, doesn't matter. Right. Can you see it?
Yes, I'm crossing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And holding my breath.
I don't know whether I've got it in the right place.
Can you push it from the back of the pot onto the thing?
Okay, I've got my hand inside.
Oh, I hope it works.
It's all on you, Claire.
No, it didn't come out.
Squash it on a slab. I bet it works on a slab if you squashed it on a slab. But we didn't put the tap inside the mould, so it might not be releasing.
Okay, back down here. Clear a bit of space.
It'd be good if it worked. It's a nice little mould.
I'll roll this so that we've got.
Press it down hard on that piece.
Here we go. Right. So let's put a bit more water on. A bit of water on there.
Of course, I'll take that.
It's good squash.
Mm.
I think you need to,
Half of it works. But in theory, that works very well.
Yeah, because if you put talc in, maybe it'd have popped out better.
Yeah. But actually, that's nice. That's worked out pretty well. So yeah, good. I guess with the other bit, I can try and.
I think if you squashed it on the clay, it'll just pop out. Do you oh no, that's come off. That's all right.
Yeah, I think it's just so thin. There's very little kind of holding it together. But
yeah,
I can try and.
it's such a nice twig, isn't it? With those...
It is, yeah. No, I can sort of put it back together. We can rebuild him.
Yeah.
There we go.
That is a lovely twig sprig. Twig sprig.
Twig sprig. There we are.
There you've got a cameo.
Not very good
Cool.
image, but anyway, yes. Yeah, there you go. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. So that's probably. Just drop my tools on the what's it? That one. Webcam. Oh, there we are.
I enjoyed that sprigging. That was
So,
good.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. It's, you know, I'm a bit like Maria in the sense that it's not necessarily the sort of pot
Your
that I
thing.
would make.
No.
But I really enjoyed the process, and I think
Yeah.
it's got potential.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of kind of finding the form that works and sort of fits with your style. But I think, you know, the possibilities are endless, and I certainly think with your work, Claire, you could really expand that idea, particularly with natural forms. You know, and you could be creating some
Yeah.
sort of interesting pieces. I do like the berries. I'm quite pleased with.
I like the berries and the twigs. Look really nice.
Yeah. So
I think it's, and I like the idea of the barnacles as well.
yeah, you could imagine them sort of completely covering a piece, and it, you know, could be quite
Definitely.
interesting. The lavender's maybe a little bit on the tree side, but you know,
I thought it was wheat. It looked like wheat. I thought it was wheat, so it didn't look that twee.
okay, wheat. Yeah, it's got a similar kind of look to it, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I think it's really interesting.
It's nice knowing about all these different techniques, because you never know when it might work to, you know, if you're trying to achieve a certain effect, knowing about all these different things, they can create shortcuts or just, you know,
yeah, absolutely. Well, I at the moment, you know, I make these wall pieces where I make all the little bits, and then frame them. But I want to move into doing away with the frame, so that the whole thing is just made from ceramic. And sprigging could actually, you know, so if you imagine this as a wall piece rather than as a pot, I think it could actually be, you know, quite a useful technique for me to make use of. So what I'm wanting to do is then take my spoons and small flowers and things like that, and actually have them attached to a clay backing. Then sprigging is going to be my main sort of potentially the main way forward. So I think this could, for me, look a lot better as a wall piece rather than a pot. So yeah, you can kind of use the technique like you do with any technique, and make it your own. So
it's like Maria's feathery frames. You could make one, and then you could make a cast of the thing, and then just recreate frames rather than having to build them up every time, couldn't you? So it's sort of
rather than slab building the frame itself. Think about that, Maria. Could that be a way for you to create frames?
Yeah, that could be quite interesting. Actually, I've tried kind of casting it a little. I can't remember what I used, and it went all wobbly. I think I used one of those silicone things, and it was a disaster. So I have to think of a better way of doing it. Yeah, could be.
Well, maybe if you do that plaster mold making.
Yeah, I'm going to see. You never know what's going to come out of something.
Also, the leaves that I was using that I can only do in summer for the green men and the, you know, that, and the flowers. Once I'd made them and fired them, if I made clay molds of them, then I'd have them in the studio all year round and could use the molds, just make a load of leaf imprint molds, and then I'd have them all year round rather than having to wait another year until summer, which is what I did this time.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you're using natural materials, then you want to be able to have something that's gonna not tie you to the seasons potentially.
Mm.
You know, and that's partly why I wanted to do this this thing, because this is elm, and elms are on the decline, obviously, in Brighton. Brighton was really well known for its elms, and they all got elm disease and are all being chopped down. So
Oh,
you know, you just can't get hold of things.
wow.
So yeah, I wanted to sort of memorialize them, but not they're resisting. They're resisting.
Well, you're almost there.
Yeah.
Can I share something with you?
Mm.
Have I shown you? Did I show you this last time? I fired it. Did I show you this?
Oh, cool, Maria. That's turned out
Oh, I
brilliant.
haven't seen it fired. Oh, wow.
Right.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I love
That's
that.
so pretty. It's
Oh,
really
it's
thin.
like paper. It looks like tissue paper. That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So what I've been doing while we've been chatting, I've been doing another layered one. It's going to be quite a lot thicker, but it won't have a cutout in the middle. But I'm doing it. Someone told me to try slip and glaze. I've got porcelain paper clay pouring slip, and I've done a third glaze. I'm going to see what happens there. That'll look quite unusual. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my new experiment, ladies.
Oh,
Wendy, Jenny.
wow. Oh, looking
That
forward.
Takes a long time.
Did
Yeah.
you paint it onto paper? Did you paint the layers onto
Yeah, so I'm
tissue?
literally just doing it each one. So I just got paper out of the recycling bin. I've got all different kinds of thickness. I've got
Cool.
some drying outside, yeah, just to see how I need to keep the layers separate. So I'm trying to get them dried. I don't know how it will work. This is my experiment, but it worked last time, and the layers are quite
Distinct.
obvious, but yeah, distinct. So I'm wondering whether I'm hoping this will be the same.
Yeah.
I'm still fixated on that frame idea. I don't know why.
Yeah, no,
It's very
fabulous. Yeah, really good. Exciting. Well, okay. Well, I'm probably
Thank you for.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you, Elaine.
That's okay.
Bye.
Well, before we say goodbye, it'd be nice if either of you fancy having a go. I think it would be good for you, Maria, to see if, particularly because I think if you really hate something, it's good to explore it and see if you can
Oh
find.
no, I'm definitely going to have a go. I'm going to see if I can make some molds. I might make some molds this afternoon. I don't know what I'm going to do it out of. Yeah, I'm going to have a good think.
Just any clay with a smooth texture.
Yeah. I was trying to think what I was going to put in it in the mold.
Oh right,
what to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think both of you, if you can see if you can find something that you want to be able to repeat and stick onto things, and
I should do my leaves.
you should do your
while there's lots of leaves about.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Variety of sizes, you know, small, medium, large, so that you can, you know, intermix them the way that Hitomi Honsono was doing with her sort of cluster of 5 and cluster of 3, and so that you can kind of build them up, especially and think about you need to press them in quite deep, because otherwise they'll be too thin and they'll break, as my twig has been doing. But
you need quite sturdy things, really, don't you? So like the hellebore flowers are quite good because they're quite almost leathery. They're quite.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, it's surprising what works. You know, I didn't think the lavender was going to work, but it's actually it's coming up better than I thought. It's really picked up the detail of that. Yeah, something with a bit of texture on it is a nice idea. But also it could be something you've made, like my berries. You know, was something that I'd made already, and it just meant I was able to repeat that. So
the berries came out so well, didn't they? The fact that you could just go up and up and up for the 3 dimensions.
Yes, another possibility. Yeah.
It's exciting learning about all these things.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Well, I'll see you. Hopefully, you can both make it next week.
Yes, definitely.
I'll see you then. Have a lovely week.
And you, Elaine. Thanks again.
You too.
Thank you, Elaine. Bye.
Bye.